Moving into the second block of the show. Gonna talk some college football. Gonna get to the NHL. Talk about the NBA a little bit if we've got some time. Got a little tainted love for you. They're a little soft sell. A little tainted love. Tainted love. The BCS top 10 rankings came out. It's an apropos song. It's like, I get it, the BCS is the system that's in place, and that's how this thing's getting worked out. It's better than what it was. It's just got a little tainted love feel to it. That's all I'm saying. So, since it is essentially the only ranking that matters, here's the BCS top 10. They've got LSU at number 1, Alabama at number 2, Oklahoma at 3, Oklahoma State at 4, Boise State at 5, Wisconsin at 6, Clemson at 7, Stanford at 8, Arkansas at 9, and Oregon rounding out the top 10. And the Sports Underground's going to differ a bit. We're just going to talk top 5 here. We got LSU. We're in agreement. LSU is the number 1 team right now, but just based on schedule, you got to look at this. Somebody's going to lose between LSU and Alabama, so make a choice. Who's the better team? If it's LSU, then you're presuming they're going to beat Bama, so Bama can't be the second best team in the country because they're going to have a loss. If you think Alabama's the best team in the country, then LSU's going to have a loss. It's just logic. So we're going to say LSU 1, Oklahoma 2, Bama 3. We're giving Boise State the 4 spot. Look, Oklahoma State just not really convincing at this point. They've won and they've scored a lot of points, but I don't get a feeling from that team. I don't watch that team and think, yeah, these guys can play with everybody. I don't get that feeling. Boise State just steamrolls everybody they play. They just spank everybody they play. And, they went down to Georgia at the beginning of the season and they beat the Bulldogs in Georgia. So whatever you want to say about this team, they play everybody on their schedule. They set up the most difficult schedule they possibly can. And they start whooping them as soon as they get off the bus. What else can a team do? Really? Rounding out the top 5 for the Sports Underground is Wisconsin. I see Wisconsin as a really, really good team. They continued to prove that this week. The number of undefeated teams is kind of starting to narrow down. This week, Georgia Tech, Michigan, and Illinois all went down. So the only unbeaten teams that are kind of a surprise at this point are Kansas State. My boy Brady's Wildcats keep doing it. And Houston. And nobody's paying attention to Houston. Pretty good offense, but nobody's really watching them. Wildcats, meanwhile, they moved up to 12th. Can they really contend in that Big 12? They've got to get a mention here. He's now coached that team to Bill Snyder's now coached that team to 4 straight wins as an underdog. You're doing something right. Shut the front door at K-State because Bill Snyder's doing something right. They play KU next week, which should be a win. In everything but basketball, that's a win. And then comes the meat grinder. Here's where the rubber's going to meet the road for K-State. They've got Oklahoma. They go to Oklahoma State. They play Texas A&M at Bill Snyder. And then they have to go down and play Texas at Texas. So, watch out, man. K-State. Look, if K-State, I'll say this. If K-State can somehow win 2 of those 4 games, that's a heck of a football team. If they can beat Texas and say A&M or OSU, I don't see them beating OU. But if they can pull 2 out of 4 out of that slate of games, that's a heck of a football team. Meanwhile, down in the SEC, everything's crazy. Les Miles is playing that dual QB system, and he's doing it on purpose. It's baffling. It never works. Nobody's ever seen it work. But he keeps doing it, and it's working. That's the baffling thing, is it's working. Unfortunately for South Carolina, very tough week for them. As we mentioned on the last program, they kicked their quarterback, Steven Garcia, off the team for failure to show up sober to anything. And then a kick to the stomach. They lost their running back, Marcus Lattimore, for the season. You remember he was in a lot of talk for the Heisman. So for them to lose him and then Garcia on the same week, that's just a tough blow. So who knows? An interesting storyline emerging down in Florida. They're now starting the third-string quarterback. And now Georgia, I mean, despite the loss to Boise State, Georgia now has a decent shot to win the SEC East. It's like, how did that happen? But there they are. That's the thing with college football. Even if you got a loss, you just got to keep hanging around. See what's going to happen. See how it's going to go down. Alabama and LSU are definitely the storyline in the SEC. This is lining up to just be the game of the year, game of the decade, game of the century. I mean, who knows? These two teams look phenomenal. And yet somehow whoever comes out of that with a loss might be tied with Auburn for second place. So does anything make sense? Does anything make sense? You're honestly telling me that you don't think we should take the best 8 teams and make a playoff. You're honestly telling me you don't think we should take LSU, Alabama, Oklahoma State, Boise State, Wisconsin, Clemson, and Stanford and have a playoff. Hey, just for fun, here's the opening round matchups in that playoff system. Number 8, Stanford at LSU. That wouldn't be a game, would it? Number 7, Clemson at Alabama. Ooh, nobody would get excited for that in the South. Number 6, Wisconsin at number 3, Oklahoma. Yeah, that sounds terrible. Oh, and Boise State versus Oklahoma State, 2 high-scoring offenses. Yeah, that doesn't sound exciting at all. Instead, let's let a bunch of fat old guys pick where these guys are going to run around and play, and we'll watch the Meineke Car Care Bowl and eat more leftovers and not really care. Let's do that. Let's have 4 games anybody cares about and only one that means anything and 23,000 bowl games. That's a formula for success. Thank you. Thank you, BCS. But I digress. The Heisman watch. Andrew Luck at Stanford is really starting to distance himself. He had over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns and with 1 interception. This is the 3rd time he's done that this season. And now all his primetime games. Now he's going to start playing on TV. You're going to start seeing him. You're going to start knowing what's going on with this guy. Russell Wilson at Wisconsin. Look, as long as Wisconsin's undefeated, this guy's going to hang around. He had 233 total yards last week with 2 touchdowns, and he caught 1. So that's cool. That's cool. You can do that with him if you want. You can swing him out there, make him a receiver. That's fun. Good times in college football. Don't play so much in the NFL, does it? Nobody's sending their quarterback out on a route in the NFL, are they? Not really. I mean, even when these guys were running the Wildcat, they're not really throwing the ball to the quarterback. Nobody wants to see them get drilled like that. Number 3 on the Heisman watch list, Kellen Moore at Boise State. He's got 338 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's moving up on the all-time win list for QBs. I think he can tie the record next week. Robert Griffin the third in Baylor. He's got 2 losses, so that hurts. He is everything, though. He's the Baylor offense. He accounted for 445 of Baylor's 480 total yards. Threw 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. It's the only second interception of the season he's thrown. At some point in time, his team's got to pick him up. Trent Richardson in Alabama is kind of rounding up the top 5. And just like Alabama, he's kind of slowly gaining ground. Like that running game in Alabama, it just slowly gains ground. Mid-third quarter, everybody starts getting tired. He just keeps pounding it. And that's kind of how he is. And that LSU game, man, that could be a big stage for him to catapult himself up there into the top rankings. So 183 yards, 4 touchdowns last week. I mean, if you haven't seen the highlight of that juke move that he threw, go check that out. Go check that out, and then get on your PlayStation or your Xbox and try to replicate that. Good luck with that, let alone doing it in person. So that's college football. A quick glance at the NHL. Pretty quiet weekend. Just going through some stuff that's kind of jumped out. We did the top 5 teams last week, and just to kind of go through real quick some early surprises this season. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 3-0, and they're first in the league in goals scored, and that's great. I mean, a Canadian team, especially Toronto, being good is good for hockey. You know, hockey needs strong Canadian teams. That is the heart of the sport. That's where the blood and guts of hockey is. And it's a better league when the Canadian teams are good. Here's one for you. The Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche are combined 8-2-0. And these are people that are supposed to just be written off like no shot, not supposed to have a chance in their division. Right now they're both in first. They've only got 1 loss. Colorado's undefeated on the road. You know, and right now they have the 3rd best power play in the league. You know, and then Dallas is top 10 in the PK and in the goals against. They're just playing really decent hockey. So that's interesting to watch. One thing we're going to keep our eye on, the New York Rangers. Rangers and the Islanders, actually. The Rangers have 2 points. You know, Brad Richards leads his entire team with 3 points. They've not played a home game and won't until October 27th, which is kind of insane. Who made that schedule? So we're going to cut them a little bit of slack, but they're going to need to get it together here pretty quick. The Islanders lost their goalie, Rick DiPietro, to a concussion. He's out indefinitely. It's a bad deal. So that's it for hockey. Real quick on the NBA. I don't know if you know this. There's a big anti-player propaganda campaign going. Just to let you know, the players had 57% of the revenue in the last deal. The owners want them to do 50. They said, let's compromise at 53. The owners said, let's do 50. It's just not even. The song, All I Want, Toad the Wet Sprocket, 1992. Whatever you do, keep right.
You have been listening to the Sports Underground Podcast. And don't forget, we always welcome your take. So hit Barron up on Twitter at bgraft, that's BGRAFFT, or send us an email at sportsunderground@gmail.com. If you like a download of this program, check us out on iTunes. Remember, come back again next time and get some.